Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the episode's first scenes, the Logan sisters are at Brooks celebrating Katie's reunion with Bill. She hadn't felt the old spark, she adds, and it's more like getting to know a completely different version of her ex. At Spencer Publications, Liam is surprised to see his father rushing through his work to get home to my Katie. Okay, if this is the new Bill, we're going to need a new poster. And while Will and Electra kiss at the beach house, Luna sobs that her life has been ruined, as opposed to when she murdered 2 people. I gotta see Will, says the broken record. Katie marvels at Brooks that the Luna side drew her and Bill closer as a family than as a couple. In the same time, Bill is in the office, telling Liam that he and Katie believe the beach house would serve as a clean slate for Wood. Though Bill is concerned that it is too late to make things right with Katie, Liam points out that this is clearly not the case, she returned. Nearly losing you changed my perspective, Bill tells his son. He wants to be a partner Katie can count on. Whatever happens, we're gonna handle it together. When Katie reveals that Will and Electra are staying at the beach house, her sisters say, "Huh. Couldn't the program create a set for them that wasn't the scene of a triple shooting?" "It's okay," Katie says. "It has been sanitized." Break out beyond the gates Febreze. Katie takes off, praising Bill for giving Liam more responsibility at work and beginning to trust his subordinates to do their jobs. Imagine that. Brooke and Donna, in turn, are impressed by their tiny sister's strength and bravery. Katie reassures the Spencer family that they will overcome any challenges. Bill is surprised to learn that a leader can be someone quieter and more thoughtful, such as Liam. Is Bill going to hand over the keys to the kingdom? Not exactly. But, he continues, Katie and Liam both deserve better than the old Bill. Bill is going to be there for everybody now. Luna notices her, opening, as Will and Electra continue to act like the ideal couple. Luna notices the laundry cart being carried past her cell once more. "I have laundry, too," she says. God, they're going to take the Keystone Cop's path with her escape, aren't they? Will has hardly remarked, "Let's hope there are no more surprises," when Luna tricks her guard stole into opening her cell door. In the episode's concluding minutes, Katie comes at Bill's office to see Rachel exorcising it. "This is a big job," the bikini bar waiter informs Katie. Katie, in turn, tells Bill about her day and reiterates her wish to be there for Will. "Luna will never harm our son again," he says. The day unfolded in the busy heart of Los Angeles, where the sun-drenched streets of Forrester creations intersected with the shadowy intrigues of family legacies, with a mix of shock, relief, and simmering tension. It was November 17th, 2025, and the air within the Forrester estate was alive with expectancy. Steffi Forrester, the poised CEO, walked the vast living room, her high heels tapping on the polished marble floor. Her mind flashed back to the events that had brought up to this point, the arrest, the trial, the countless nights of dread. Luna Nozawa, the young woman who had formerly been a promising intern at Forrester, had been imprisoned for months, accused of crimes that had shattered their world. Everyone believed Luna had weaved a web of deception, including poisoning, attempted murder, and manipulation. But suddenly, word had spread from the courts that Luna was free. Some claimed that the release was based on a technicality. Others mumbled, "New evidence." Steffi held her phone and stared at the breaking news alert that had just come through. Luna Nozawa acquitted, shocking twist in Forrester poisoning case. Her brother, Thomas, stood nearby, arms crossed and jaw set in that familiar Forrester resolve. "This can't be happening," Steffi said, her voice full of incredulity. "She tried to kill my father. She poisoned Poppy. How is she just out?" Thomas placed his hand on her shoulder, his touch firm but his eyes angry. "The justice system isn't perfect, Steph. But if she's free, we need to be ready." Luna's not the type to slink away quietly. He looked toward the door, as if expecting her to burst through at any minute. Outside, the pom-poms waved pleasantly in the air, providing a dramatic contrast to the storm developing behind these walls. Across town, in a humble apartment Luna had formerly occupied with her mother, Poppy Nozawa, the newly released woman emerged from a sleek black automobile donated by an unnamed sponsor. Luna's dark hair cascaded over her shoulders, her eyes piercing and unwavering despite the tiredness engraved on her features. Prison had altered her, hardened her, perhaps, but not broken her spirit. She adjusted the fancy jacket she had managed to retrieve from storage, a relic of her Forrester years. "Well, that was easy," she remarked to herself with a sardonic smirk, echoing the remarks that would soon circulate among LA's elite. Her mother, Poppy, waited on the threshold, tears running down her cheeks. "Luna. Oh, my baby girl." Poppy hugged her, her bohemian skirts flowing around her. Luna hugged back momentarily before pulling away, her look cautious. "We don't have time for this, Mom. I need to see Will right now." Poppy's face sank. Will Spencer, Bill Spencer's son, the young guy who had held Luna together during her spiral into anarchy. He had visited her in prison and reaffirmed his trust in her innocence despite the mounting evidence against her. But Will was no ordinary visitor. He became enmeshed in the Spencer-Forrester web, a link between opposing families. And Luna realized that going straight for him was her way back into the game. "He's at the Spencer estate," Poppy replied nervously. "But Luna, are you sure? The Forresters, they'll come for you." Luna's laugh was cruel. "Let them. I have nothing left to lose." Meanwhile, at the Spencer Publications headquarters, Bill Spencer, Dollar Bill, as he was affectionately or fearfully known, leaned back in his leather chair, glancing at the same news alert on his giant screen. His son, Will, sat across from him, fidgeting with a pen. Will had matured into a lovely young man, sporting his father's sharp features and a fragility that made him all too human in this harsh society. "Dad, this is insane. Luna's innocent. I knew it all along." Bill lifted an eyebrow, his voice booming with characteristic authority. "Innocent? Kid. She confessed to spiking those drinks. The tapes don't lie." Will shook his head vehemently. "It was coerced. The new lawyer proved it. The chain of custody on the evidence was broken. Someone tampered with it." Bill moaned, rubbing his temples. He had his own troubled relationship with Luna's mother, which had resulted in questions. But now is not the time to bring that up. "Fine, she's gone. But if she comes sniffing around here, especially you, we'll handle it my way." The door to Bill's office opened without a knock, and in walked Katie Logan, Will's mother and Bill's ex-wife. Her eyes widened with dread. Katie's voice quivered with mother protectiveness. "Have you seen the news? Luna's free, and rumor has it she's heading straight here for Will." She had always been leery of Luna, knowing the danger underneath her charming exterior. Will stood up, scraping his chair back. Katie whirled on him. "Mom, stop. Luna needs support right now. She's been through hell." "Support? She tried to destroy our family. Remember what she did to Poppy? To Ridge." The room became silent for a while, the weight of past betrayals bearing down. Bill cleared his throat. "Enough. Will, if she shows up, you call security. We're not playing games." But Will had other plans. He slipped out amid a furious quarrel with his parents, grabbed his keys, and headed for the parking garage. His heart beat as he dialed Luna's number, which she had given him during a jail visit. It rang twice before she responded. "Will, is that you?" Her tone was a mix of hopeful and cautious. "Luna, where are you? Are you okay?" He started the engine of his sports vehicle and drove out onto the bright streets. "I'm fine. Better than fine. Meet me at the beach house, the old Spencer one in Malibu. We need to talk." Will wasn't worried. "On my way." As he sped down the Pacific Coast Highway, the surf pounding against the cliffs below, memories swamped him. Luna's laughing during late-night design meetings at Forrester, her ambition mirroring his own. He believed in her restoration, even though no one else did. Back at Forrester Creations, the story had spread rapidly. Hope Logan, ever the optimist with her hope for the future brand, met with Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester in the executive offices. Brooke, Ridge's wife and Hope's mother, wrung her hands. "This is a nightmare. Luna poisoned me too, indirectly. How can she just walk free? Ridge, the patriarch with his silver-streaked hair and strong stature, pounded a fist on the tabletop. Technicality or not, she's dangerous. We need to protect our family. Hope, on the other hand, saw shades of gray. What if she's changed? Prison does that to people. And Will, he's smitten with her. We can't ignore that. Ridge gave her a confused glance. Smitten? He's a Spencer. This is about loyalty. The door opened, and in strode Liam Spencer, Will's half-brother and Hope's troubled ex. Speaking of Spencers, I just heard from Dad. Will's gone AWOL, probably to meet Luna. The group exchanged looks. Steffi rushed in shortly later, having driven over from the mansion. We have to stop this. Luna is manipulating him again. The room erupted into commotion, with plots to intercept, calls to lawyers, and warnings to the police. But behind it all were deeper secrets. Luna's paternity. Was she actually Bill's daughter? The tests had been inconclusive, possibly tampered with by Luna herself. Luna was the first to arrive at the Malibu beach house, and the waves served as a soothing backdrop to her stormy emotions. She kicked off her shoes and felt the sand between her toes for the first time in months. Freedom tasted of salt air and possibilities. Her phone buzzed with texts from unfamiliar numbers, threats from Forrester allies, and congrats from old friends who had remained loyal. She disregarded them all. What was all that mattered now? He arrived in a cloud of dust and jumped out before the car had fully stopped. Luna, he exclaimed, grabbing her in a tight embrace. She melted into it for a second before softly pushing back. Will, we need to be careful. They're coming for me. He cupped her face. Let them. I believe you. Tell me everything. What really happened? They sat on the terrace, the sun setting over the horizon. Luna's narrative spilled out. The pressure from her Aunt Lee Finnegan, the fabricated proof, and the true perpetrator who had framed her. It was someone close to the Forresters, she insisted. Someone who wanted me out of the way because of my designs, my potential. Will listened, his hand in hers. We'll prove it. Together. However, their reunion was brief. As a procession of automobiles approached, headlights pierced the twilight, uniting Forresters and Spencers in opposition. Steffi led the charge, accompanied by Thomas and Ridge. Bill and Katie came next, followed by Liam and Hope. Bill said, Luna, step away from my son. Luna stood, stubborn. I'm not going anywhere, and neither is Will. Chaos ensued, with yells, accusations, and appeals. Will guarded Luna and declared his love. She's innocent. Back off. Steffi charged forward. You have no idea what she's capable of. In the midst of the standoff, a new figure emerged from the shadows. Finn, Steffi's husband, and a doctor with personal ties to the case. He held a folder. Wait. I have the real lab results. The poisoning, it wasn't Luna's formula. It matches something else, something from the Forrester lab archives. The entire group let out a gasp. Ridge grabbed the files. What's this? Finn said. Anonymous tip. The poison was a rare compound used in old textile dyes. Luna's batch was clean. Someone switched it. Accusations flew again. Was this Send? Deacon? Is there an outside enemy? Luna seizes the situation. See? I told you. However, trust was tenuous. Bill looked at her suspiciously. Convenient timing. As night fell, the gang settled into uneasy truces. Luna and Will slipped away to a secret cove, murmuring about their future plans. We'll rebuild, Will stated. Forrester, Spencer. It doesn't matter. Us against the world. The next morning brought new drama. Adiel Giordino, Deacon Sharp, and Sheila Carter, now partially reformed, overheard rumors about Luna's release. Sheila, known for her villainous tendencies, grinned. That girl has spunk. She reminds me of myself. Deacon cautioned her to keep out of it. Meanwhile, Poppy addressed Lee in the hospital. You framed my daughter. Lee adamantly denied it, but cracks appeared. Family secrets are unraveled thread by thread. Luna, emboldened, walked inside Forrester Creations uninvited. The office fell hushed as she entered the design room. "I'm back," she announced. Steffi blocked her out. "Over my dead body." But Hope stepped in. "Give her a chance. We need new talent." Debates raged in board sessions. Ridge grudgingly agreed to a probationary return with rigorous supervision. Will smiled from the sidelines, his support unflinching. Romantic tension simmered. Will and Luna exchanged clandestine kisses in the supply closet, reigniting their romance. But jealousy brewed. Thomas watched Luna suspiciously, recalling her previous flirtations. Subplots intertwined. Brooke and Ridge's marriage crumbled under the pressure. Katie tried to keep Will away, and Bill dug into paternity tests again. The weeks passed in a blur. Luna's designs skyrocketed, demonstrating her worth. Evidence mounted against a surprising villain, Electra Forrester, a distant cousin with a vendetta. The climax was built at a gala. Luna revealed a magnificent collection, but sabotage struck. Garments damaged by the same poison. Accusations peaked. In a tense confrontation, Electra confessed, framed by her own need for attention. Luna was vindicated, and Will embraced her in front of everyone. "Well, that was easy," she said again, this time with actual satisfaction. Families reconciled reluctantly. Forrester and Spencer lifted toasts to an uneasy peace. Luna and Will headed into the future together, their love shining brightly amidst the bold and beautiful turbulence. Yet, in the shadows, fresh threats loomed. A mystery letter implying more secrets. The story progressed as it always did in this world of fashion, family, and merciless fate. Luna strolled out of the correctional institution as the sun rose over the far ridge. For a minute, she stood there, breathing deeply, as if relearning the taste of air that had not been filtered by bars and cinder blocks. The environment seemed both too large and too familiar. The gravel crunched beneath her borrowed shoes, and she grasped the handle of a small plastic bag containing everything she had left: a few letters, a pair of earrings she hadn't worn in years, and the photo of Will that she'd hidden for nearly the entire duration of her sentence. Freedom, she understood, was neither loud nor triumphant. It was quiet. It buzzed. It pulsated with possibilities. And now, it arrived with a very clear destination. Will. She began walking, her legs unsteady from adrenaline rather than exhaustion. A taxi idled at the curb, as if waiting for her, but she ignored it, seeking a moment of freedom from a fixed schedule or monitoring. Her steps got more assured as she strolled away from the facility and toward the bus station, the bristles of an early morning breeze blowing strands of hair over her face. Will smiled in the picture she clutched, with the same warmth that had pulled her in years before. His eyes, dark and genuine, contained the memory of promises they'd once made, promises broken by bad decisions, terrible timing, and a truth she wasn't sure she was ready to face. But she needed to. She owed him honesty, no matter what awaited her: anger, bewilderment, or rejection. More than anything, she owed herself the opportunity to hear his voice again. The bus approached with a hiss. She hopped aboard, paid with the last few dollars on her commissary card, and took a seat toward the rear. People came and went, staring at her with benign indifference. She wondered if they could tell, if it were obvious, if freedom clung to her like a perfume, or if incarceration left a residue that was impossible to remove. 2 hours later, she stepped off in Los Angeles, the city's familiar hum echoing through her shoes. The skyline had altered slightly, stores had changed, and the street musicians appeared younger. But the air felt the same, warm, hopeful, and chaotic. She went to the coffee shop, knowing she'd locate her first lead. Paige, Will's sister, who had always been more perceptive than Luna was comfortable with. They hadn't spoken since Luna's incarceration, but Paige had sent one letter approximately 6 months in. "This is not an apology. Not an olive branch. Just one sentence. When you're ready, you'll know where to find us." Luna folded the letter within Will's photo and read it until the edges curled into gentle, ragged petals. When she walked into the cafe, The fragrance of roasted beans and cinnamon evoked memories. The barista smiled brightly as he looked up from the register, but Luna's attention was drawn to the corner table where Paige sat with a laptop and a half-finished latte. Her look remained unreadable until Luna approached. Paige slowly closed her laptop while studying her. "You're out," she stated simply. Luna nodded. "Today." Paige indicated the seat across from her. "Sit." Luna did, instantly aware of her thrift store shirt and the tense way her hands twisted together. "You look good," Paige replied, though her tone indicated that she was analyzing Luna's emotional temperature more than her physical appearance. "Healthier." "I'm trying," Luna answered. "One step at a time." Paige didn't grin, but her stance relaxed. "So, you're here for Will?" This wasn't a question. Luna's pulse quickened. Paige rubbed her fingers against her cup. "Yes. I expected this day to arrive. I just wasn't sure how you would handle it. Or if you could go into some calm corner of the planet and pretend none of this had occurred." "I considered it," Luna acknowledged. "But I can't move forward without speaking with him. I need him to hear everything, even if he doesn't want to." Paige looked at her for a little longer. She then dug into her bag, took out a small paper, scrawled an address, and slid it over the table. "He's there," she confirmed. "He teaches at the community studio most mornings. Art classes. Mostly kids." Luna blinked. "Is he teaching?"
Yeah.
"Something about structure, routine, and giving back. It's been beneficial for him." "Hard, but good." Luna paused. "Is he okay?" Paige sighed deeply and leaned back in her chair. "It depends on the day. Depends on who you ask." After a pause, she added, "He never stopped thinking about you. He won't admit it, but he never truly let go." Hope sparked, but Luna was almost frightened to let it bloom. "Thank you," she muttered. Paige's stare remained steady. "If you break him again, I won't forgive you." Those piercing but honest words seemed almost like a gift. Luna nodded. "I won't." She exited the cafe, the address burning in her hand. The walk to the class took 20 minutes, but her heart made it feel like 20 miles. When she arrived, she stopped outside the window and looked in through the glass. Children gathered around long tables covered in newspaper and tempera paint palettes. Brushes, fingers, and cheeks were all covered in bright red, yellow, blue, and green paint. The room was alive with conversation, laughter, and the occasional cry of creative victory. Will stood in the center,